And hello, it is me, your D-O-double-G, and welcome, one and all, to the Absolute Football Podcast, where no one told you that life was going to be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke, your love life's DOA. It's like you've always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year, but I'll be there for you because you're there for me too. All of you, thank you for joining us this evening, you beautiful people. Look how many. I don't think we've had this many on a Monday in time. But it's a joyous occasion for some. And for somebody who is always a joyous occasion for, because they are just a joyous person. Charlotte, how are you this evening, Charlotte?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm excited to be on. How are you?
I'm excited that you're here, that Grimmy's here, Rebecca, and I'm just excited you're all here together. And like I said, it's not just me and Charlotte, even though that would be a show in of itself. We also have young Rebecca. Young Rebecca, how are you this evening?
I'm very good, thank you. Excited to be back on.
Beautiful. It's lovely to have. And it's nice that she's excited to be here with us. Not many people are excited to be on a podcast on a Monday with me, so I appreciate
that. Be nice.
Yeah, she's just so lovely. She's just very mannerly. She's got lots of manners. And somebody who isn't often mannerly, but is always a joy to have on, is Hannah. How are you this evening, Hannah?
I didn't know who was going to then.
What an intro. I am great, thank you. How are you, Josh?
Do you know, it's a good time for you. Look, you're wearing your shirt with pride.
This is the first time I've been on the Absolute Football Podcast with my shirt on, and I feel like I'm allowed to. I've not.
She means with a football shirt on. All these people are going, shit, right, last week.
The viewers have gone up.
My United shirt, just for those listening.
just for clarity, and somebody who I wish he would come on without his top on, but he's got one anyway. It's a special guest this evening, Manchester United fan, friend of mine and Sam's, and everybody loves a little bit of Grimmy. How are you this evening, Grimmy?
Absolutely fantastic, bud. Great to be on. I don't think I need to scar anybody with my shirt off, so I don't want to drive the views down. So yeah, we'll keep that on. Thanks.
I just very considerate of you, because I was lying. I'd hate to see that. That'd be awful. Your big man nipples everywhere. But in the chat as well. Dear me, look, I'm going off canter already. We've got Ends Man in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Hope you are doing well. We've got Mr. Luke, Mr. Luke, and you could have caught Mr. Luke last Thursday on Absolutely Lower League, where he blessed and graced the Wowdy Wabble, in the words of Y. Hodgson. And he's only big clubs win silverware at Wembley this season. Indeed. Making friends already. And it's Simon. Oh, the joy. We were talking about you off cam, and Hannah was hoping you were on. We all hope you are. Glad you've managed to make it this evening. And Mr. Ducks here, look at those wonderful people and wonderful United shirts. We've got a bit of a variation in the United shirts as well, mixing it up a little bit with one season and another season. Which one's which? I don't know. No idea. And the Weird Reaper, thank you for joining us as well this evening, young sir. Fifey wants me to I'm sure this can't be to me. Teach you to do good openings, please. Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's when you're going to pick up that sort of mad experience. I just rattle off random shit. And here's Glenn. Well done to Man United. Pains him as a Cov fan. I still think they should have been them, but can't deny United deserve to win. And there he is. Now, this is when he says King of Boot Packers. I'll just give this a little bit of context, because context is king. That is not my grinder handle. That is, in fact, I do, when I go shopping on a Saturday, post a picture of my boot packed with shopping. It's an art form. It's a skill, and you should check it out. There's Rebecca, Queen of the Underscore, Hannah, Queen of Internet Shithousery, and Charlotte, who's simply the Queen.
Oh, thanks.
Then and then just to chop it off, my favourite. Get out of the way, new comments. I can't hide or show. I'm frozen. I can't do anything with the comments. Shah, can you pull up William's comment immediately underneath this one? Also, hi to Grimmy.
Hi. Hi, Grim.
There we are. And Fifey, this is already went to 2. I'm going to see if I can. There, I think that was either me or Shah. There we are. King of the Boot Packers. That's my karaoke go-to. It is. It's like King of the Hill, only much more different show. But that's not why we're here, to learn about my shopping escapades at Asda. There are other supermarkets available. We're here to let some people revel and bask in the glory, Man United. I think the words are, that's what a respectful chap I am. That's what a respectful guy I am. And out of respect, because he is a one-off guest this evening for now, if he behaves himself. Grimmy, I can't even remember the score. I think 2-1.
2-1.
Man United 2. How did that one make you feel?
Christ alive. Oh, well, apart from that intro, it was absolutely bliss. It was beautiful. Going into that match, I think the majority of us would be lying if anyone said as a United fan they expected us to get anything out of it, much less a 2-0 lead at half time. But the way the lads played, fought defensively, kept the shape, did everything that they did, and actually did us proud, which was nice to see after some of the results we've had over the past month or so. I think the obvious one being 4-0 away at Palace was kind of the lowest ebb for me of the season. And a performance like that, after all the hype to it as well with Ten Hag's question marks over his job and everything like that, and the way they performed was just fantastic, really. Yeah.
And I mean, we will analyze, get into some analytics of the game, because I did think it was quite a tactically interesting game. But Hannah, a victory against Man City, apparently turning Manchester red again. How did that game make you feel?
Oh my God. I was mainly shocked, like Grimmy said. I went into it like this, and then 10 minutes in, a bit more like this. And honestly, it was just, I was like, is this my club? Like, I posted a TikTok like an hour before, like, all that we ask is that they fight for the badge and they show a little bit of passion, and they did that. And it was so unexpected. And I think a lot of factors, like number one, the fact that it was against City and then just won the title. Like, if you look at the table, they're first, we're 8th. Who's going to win that? It's kind of obvious. Obviously, it's City, so it's always nice to win a Manchester derby. It's basically like we finished 5th, which, for all the stress of the season, to not only swoop on Europe, but to knock Newcastle out of Europe and Chelsea down to conference, like in the space of 90 minutes, like, what more can you ask for? And a lovely shiny trophy and trophy pictures. But yeah, it's nice to have a nice feeling around the club. Like, I've been like really down about it recently. I think, again, like Grimmy said, that 4-0 at Palace and just some of the results this season and the way that we've lost this season, just to go 2-0 up. Like, I will admit, when we went 2-0 up, I was a bag of nerves now, because I was like, right, this is where it goes 2-2. Then we lose it, and it's, even worse because we bottled a lead. That's what we've done all season. So it was just so nice to win, and it was the youngsters, and it was just a great day.
It was lovely, and Simon showing his appreciation and his
Simon,
respect for United fans.
Give us the credit we deserve.
Weird Reapers here saying that congratulations, United fully deserved their win. City was shocking, but United's concentration levels were spot on. There's so much in here that I want to break down, because I thought it's the first time in a long time I've watched a whole Man United game through without being in the stadium. So I look at yes, Heather. Hello, Heather. I actually got a wave as well. Isn't that lovely? There was good performances all around. I mean, Fifey's saying in there, mainly has to start in the Euros after that.
Quality, absolute quality. For a kid that age to be so calm and composed on the ball. And I think Paul Scholes said it as well in his interview. He said people have compared us, and he said Mainu is a lot better than I was at that age. He said he's just absolute class, and I just think he's got his head screwed on as well for such a young lad and stuff. And yeah, he's been around in this lifetime before, 100%.
Do you know, I always struggle with Paul Scholes a little bit because he's so humble. The man is like one of the most humble pundits. Like, what do you think? Who's better than you or CVG? Oh, well, CVG, obviously. What do you think is better, you or this guy? Oh, it's obviously that guy. Like, God bless his heart. Mate, just stand there and say, I could ping a ball absolutely bloody everywhere. Anywhere I wanted it to go, I could have pulled it, apart from at the end of a tackle. But Grimmy, all your players before went, who was your favourite? Who was your standout player for you in that game? And why?
I mean, it's a toss-up between Manu, Bruno, and Martinez, I think. Just for Martinez almost having a scrap with Kyle Walker on the way off the pitch. That was just like, he was just like, outside, I'll have you. That was probably one of my favourite moments, if not apart from the trophy lift. Yeah, I'd probably have to say Manu, just because of how calm and composed, and he just didn't look out of place at all. In the middle of his first cup final, just took it with ease, and again, calm composure in the finish was there where it needed to be. And yeah, I didn't see that comment. So yeah, but no, I think Manu was man of the match by far. So yeah.
And Martinez and Kyle Walker in a fight. Who do you think's winning that one?
There's only one answer. Only one answer.
And is there anyone that doesn't want to watch that happen either?
I would love to watch that happen.
I
don't like Kyle Walker. I don't like Kyle Walker as a person. Like, as a footballer, like, you can respect him for what he's done and like the titles he's won and things like that. But as a person, I do not rate him. And I will come on to that later because it's part of my Bruno speech. Because yeah,
Bruno speech.
My Bruno speech. I'm putting love on Bruno.
But we don't talk about Bruno. No,
we do.
I'm only joking.
We need to talk about Bruno.
We do.
And I mean, and there's weird people saying Arsenal, they would happily take Mino off your hands.
No. He's going to be our captain. No way. He lives, breathes, sleeps Manchester United. Like, he's literally from around the corner. He loves it. He bloody loves it. He's not going anywhere.
All right, Hannah, who is your player of the game for you and why?
This might be a nice way for me to lead Charlotte into her speech. But, Bruno for me. I just think you mentioned it before in our group chat, Josh, like, his all-around game yesterday on Saturday was brilliant. Like, he was so calm. Like, the thing that I absolutely loved about that performance is, I don't know if anyone knows, like, I don't expect anyone to know, but he wrote like an open letter to Manchester United fans, and it was published the day before. And he basically was explaining, it's a really nice interview actually. He was just basically explaining how he feels about the club and how this season's been, and etc. But it was really nice. But I did read that and think, okay, great, love that. Like, you are a great captain, but go and win us a trophy. And he did, and he led us to that success. Like, they were so disciplined on Saturday. They didn't like once slip into the habits that they've had all season. It was like they all had new brains, and I don't know what had gone on in the dressing room. I don't know if they just realized, shit, like the fans do deserve this, because we do have great fans who have stuck by them above and beyond this season and always. So I think for him to write that and then to actually go and put that performance in, like, Bruno gets stick because, he whinges and he does this and he does that. There was none of that on Saturday. There was literally not even a whiff of any of that. He just put his head down, got on with the game. Some of his passes, like that pass to Manu, that assist, he didn't even look. And the whole time, you can see in the run, because it's on a counter-attack, he's scanning the whole time. Had he not had that pass, Manu obviously finished it incredibly, but that would not have been a goal. So without that man, like, I really worry about where we would be, and he's far too overhated, far too underappreciated, and that's our captain. And even Roy Keane saying he's not fit to be captain, that was a captain's performance, and like, that actually made me proud. He doesn't always make me proud, but that was a great game on Saturday. So yeah,
I'm going to tee you up now, Charlotte. Wouldn't it be good if he sorted his composure out and his temperament every game? Imagine the player he could be.
Do you know what frustrates me though, right? The reason why so many people target Bruno Fernandes is because so many people hate Manchester United. Jack Grealish does it. Jude Bellingham did it as well. I'm not being funny. When he played Manchester City, and I think, what was it, the semi-final or the quarter-final? I can't remember which one. He does it. I've seen Anthony Gordon do it this season. I've seen Andy Robertson do it this season as well. And I think a lot of the blame is put on Bruno Fernandes, and a lot of people like to target him because everyone loves to hate Manchester United. And it's honestly due to pure jealousy of what they've achieved in the past. And obviously, a lot of people love seeing Manchester United fail. And I've actually got some pointers because I have been a massive Bruno Fernandes fan. Like even when he weren't at United and watching him internationally and stuff. And that was one of the reasons I think that he's not liked. I think, like Hannah said, he is so disrespected. What he does each season in an attacking wise as well, what he creates, the goals he scores. I think if he played for any other club, a lot more people would appreciate him and a lot more people would see Bruno Fernandes for the creating player that he actually is. But because he plays for United, I don't think people see it. They love to dislike him. And don't get me wrong, yes, he moans, but we were all saying the captain should be the one who talks to the referees and stuff. We're all bigging that up on one podcast. So why are we now hating Bruno Fernandes for doing that and speaking to the referee and like having his say? It clearly shows that he's playing for the badge, he's passionate and he's protecting these players and he stands up for what's right, which I would love a captain like that. Like as a Rochdale fan, I would love my captain to be like Bruno. He always plays. I think he's missed 2 this season through injury, but even those 2 matches he wanted to play, but he had to take the break because it was obviously, you could see him struggling in the matches. No matter what position he plays, he plays it. Like when we saw him against Liverpool, I think at one point he was put in centre back. Harry Maguire was up front. He still did that. He puts his body on the line week in, week out, whether it's double game weeks, whether it's international. He always does that. The way he conducts himself, people say that. And as I've mentioned before, I think a lot of people notice it more because he's at Manchester United. But the modern day football now is adapting. And this is the way people are playing. Like if you look throughout the whole football pyramid, whether you go into like Barcelona, Real Madrid, their players are doing exactly the same. They're constantly hounding the referee. They're constantly going down. If you look deeper into the lower leagues as well, and there's a lot of lower league fans in here who probably say, oh, lower league, they don't do that, but they do. We've seen it in the Championship before. But the thing is, with Premier League, you're seeing it week in, week out because the media are making so much of a big deal about it, VAR and all these things. So you're seeing that a lot more. But throughout the whole pyramid, they do it in National League, where they're constantly on at the referee and they're moaning, they're going down and stuff. But like I said, I think Bruno gets heavily targeted with that. It gives all for the club, as I've mentioned. He plays for the badge. Off the pitch as well, which people don't realise. Some of my family are season ticket holders at Manchester United, and they say no matter what's happened, no matter obviously if United have lost, if it's a night match, and I can't remember who they played last home game of the season. United, it was a night match. It was a midweek night match.
Newcastle.
Newcastle. He stayed till like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, signing autographs for young kids, for players, signing shirts and things like that. People don't see that side to Bruno Fernandes. They love to hate on him. His class in interviews as well. People were talking about the Newport game and how Erik ten Hag didn't give Newport credit. Bruno Fernandes was the first one to come out and give them credit and say how well these players played. It picks the youngsters up as well when they were down. A prime example was last year, the FA Cup final, when they lost it, obviously, to Manchester City. It's the first one, like, consoling Garnacho and these other players. And I just feel like that's someone you want your captain to be like. You never see him in the media with his personal life. Like, the media love to hate on Bruno Fernandes and stuff as a United captain, but you never see him like you've seen previous captains at other clubs, like doing this and that and the nightlife and cheating on the wives and things like that. He's very personal. He's very personal like that. The only things you see him post on social media is encouragement. Obviously, that letter to United fans, congratulating the academy players, congratulating the United women when they've won games and like the FA Cup. You see that, and then pictures of his own family, always at United games, always in United kits and stuff. So I think that's amazing. And the last one as well that I just wanted to say, and it's quite a personal story, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to come on here and speak about Bruno. The other day in the park, I don't know if any of you know, but my little boys are actually United fans. Like Bobby has a season ticket at Rochdale, but because my family are really big United fans, we've got a mixture. He obviously followed in his granddad's footsteps, and he's a United fan. And he had Bruno Fernandes on the back of his shirt. And this guy at the park, it was only having banter, don't get me wrong, but it was like, oh, why have you got that whinge bag on the back of your shirt and stuff, having banter? And then I looked at his kid, and he had Kyle Walker on the back of his shirt. And I actually turned around to him and I said, I don't mean to be awful, this banter, but don't come at me, because I would rather have my son looking up to Bruno Fernandes as a role model than Kyle Walker. And this guy just kind of took a step back. And do you know that meme of Homer Simpson where he's like that in the bush, like going back? That was what this guy were like. And as much as people, as I've said, like to hate on Bruno, they don't see the bigger picture, and they don't actually like see what it does bring to Manchester United. They all just love to hate him because he's Manchester United's captain. And a lot of these people, even in the chat now, a lot of people who do hate on Bruno Fernandes, do you also dislike Manchester United as well? Because that's a lot of the reason for it. And I'm sorry, like, I'm a neutral in all this. Yes, my family are United fans, but I respect Bruno Fernandes, and I feel like he does get a lot of hate, and it's not just him who does it, because a lot of other Premier League players, National League players, EFL players, Barcelona and Real Madrid, I'm sorry, but they're really, really bad for it. A lot of the foreign clubs. So don't come at Bruno Fernandes, because it's not just him.
Do you know what? I want you to give my eulogy.
Mic drop.
Wow, yeah. I'm gonna download this and save that and just play that every morning.
I would need my inspirational speech in the morning. That would be like, come on.
You know, when I die, love you. But when I die, you're the person I want to speak. But I need you to like me first.
I do like.
Once I've got you on side,
I don't.
I've got. I mean, what you said in regards to sort of exposure, and I think that's my person. I mean, we've got. I mean, I was trying to pull comments up, Charlotte, which she didn't read because she was in a stride. So
I was in
Charlotte,
the mode.
Charlotte was not ignoring anybody or anything that you said, and I think there was just a lot of positivity for what you said. I mean, the weird bit was only sort of negative one, but he thought his performance was superb on Saturday. But I mean, like, do you know what you said about where he's in the limelight? And I got to be honest, that is. My only thing is that behaviour. I don't necessarily personally have an issue with Bruno Fernandes. And yeah, I know I banter about it because Hannah likes him so much. So that's like, you know, a red flag to a bull. I've got to go then. But it's that behaviour in general, like we said, because it's in so many places. I think that's what we've got to expunge. And that's what, for me, I mean, people like Bruno, Jack Grealish, all those people in the limelight. That's why I think they should try and expose that sort of behaviour. But he is highlighted more because of where he's at, so he's always going to get.
100%. Because there's a lot of negativity at the minute on Manchester United. They pick out him, and like I've said, I've realised this from being on Twitter and coming into Twitter Spaces and things like that, and listening to people. There's a lot of hate towards Bruno Fernandes because he is at United, and people hate United because they're jealous of when Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge. That is it. And that's why, as well, a lot of people laugh at United this season and stuff, and Chelsea get away with a lot of it. Because as much as Chelsea, exactly, as much as Chelsea obviously have had a bad season, they've kind of picked it up again, but then sat Pochettino, which I'm sorry. I don't really rate Pochettino, but what he did the back end of the season, he should be applauded for that, to be fair. But I just feel like people get away with a lot more because they're not. But with Manchester United, because everyone's so jealous of what we've achieved in the past, this is what it stems from. And as I mentioned before, it's not just Bruno Fernandes that does it. Everybody does it, but a lot of people like to pick at Bruno Fernandes. And I feel like he's not appreciated enough as an attacking player and what he does and what he creates and the goals he scores, because they're too busy like being negative about him because they just don't want to like him. Whereas if he was at another club, maybe they would see what Bruno Fernandes does, but they just like to be negative about it.
And at the end of the, I mean, I've got to be honest, and I won't make this anything other than what it is, but it's the same reason I think Klopp got a lot of grief for complaining about like fixture numbers and stuff like that, the number of fixtures. All managers complain the same, but it's where the spotlight shines the most. And that's the thing, spotlight is on Bruno the most because United are one of the biggest clubs, not just in the Premier League, but in the world football. So he's going to have that
Do you know
light
what?
shone on
To
him.
be fair, with that Klopp thing, I didn't hate on him as much, whereas Nuno, because he managed an EFL club previously, that's the one who I really disliked when he had that rant. So I felt like you managed Wolves when they were in the EFL and you needed them cup runs and stuff to like obviously get back in and get finances. And that's what annoys me, the clubs that then, and the likes of Brentford and stuff, who like all this fixture congestion, and it's like, well, not that long ago you were in the EFL and you needed them type of things. So it's not necessarily Klopp and stuff that do anger me the most, because I feel like it is frustrating because they're influential characters and a lot of people respect their opinions and things like that. It's the ones who have been there and needed that, and it's kind of a bit of hypocritical. That's who annoy me the most.
I mean, and the weird people saying that speech got me cheering for Bruno.
See,
I don't like
you're all
going
to get him on your Portugal shirts now.
Great, it was officially requested to be the first in line for tickets with an audience at Shah Tour. Coming soon to it. That'll sell out in seconds, mate. That'll sell out in seconds. I mean, we haven't asked yet, but that as a neutral, as a proper neutral, not even like a neutral like myself with a little bit of bias in it. But Becca, Man City 1, Manchester United 2, FA Cup final. How did it make you feel?
I was shocked, I'll be honest. I didn't really know. Going into it, you just didn't know what Man United were going to turn up, because we have seen like glimpses of a really good standout Man United this season. So you just didn't know which United were going to turn up. And then like speaking to a lot of people, they're like, oh, City will have been celebrating all week. So it's like you just didn't know what was going to happen. I did think United did. The United that we wanted to see showed up to give us a better match than what it could have been. So as a neutral, it was a really good one to watch. In terms of like when you look at the stats, I think it was the percentage of possession for Man City was insane. I think theirs is like 80-20. And it's like to see Man United be able to do like the counter attacks and play the way that they did. Round of applause to the team. And like as everyone has said, Bruno Fernandes keeping his head the way he did, getting it down, getting the team together and showing what the FA Cup meant to the fans as well as like the team. So I do feel as though it is a great one, that it does feel like they have won it for the fans, especially with how on and off they have been this season. And there was like a couple of mistakes from City with the lack of communication with the first goal, but Garnacho to just keep going at him, to put that pressure on, like him and Mainoo were two massive standout players, and they have been, especially Garnacho this season for United. He's been one, as much as I pain to say it, that goal against Everton, round of applause. I do say that one through gritted teeth, but incredible goal. And it's just one of them. It was good to see United win, to take a bit of something off City, because everyone's like, oh yeah, City are gonna hammer them. And then for United to turn up the way they did, when City scored, I was like, right, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be 2-2, like 100th minute winner for City or something. So to see them hold out, like fair play to United. And yeah, as a neutral, it was a very entertaining watch.
And do you know what I appreciate you picking up on there was something that I've been saying for a long time. For me personally, Pep Guardiola, probably the greatest coach in football there's ever been. Manager, I think he's lacking, because personally, I think he's tactically inept. And I've been saying it for years. People always mock and ridicule me. And you picked up there about Erik ten Hag's tactics. And Graham also said it earlier on the chat, which is why I didn't bring the comment up at the time, because I was gearing myself up ready for the right time to launch my Pep rant. But he's saying Pep turned up and just went full football manager, hit his best 11, and then hits him expecting it to be good enough. But he was tactically outthought. And there was something I picked up when I looked at the sort of tactics that played. I don't know. I mean, Graham or Hannah, you might know better than me. I didn't see this sort of fluid formation used really at any point of the season. The way that he set the team up to give sort of Rashford and Garnacho such fluidity across the side of the pitch, and Fernandes and McTominay sort of pushing you, that grit of McTominay and Fernandes is just industriousness and this creativity in areas where City just weren't prepared for it. and it was a different tactic than I'd seen. And what I remember saying to somebody on Twitter that Pep won't have an answer for it because tactically he's not astute tactically. He has a formation, the style of play, but if you can counter that, he's just knackered. And I think Erik ten Hag had his number, and I think he did it. I mean, Hannah, I'll come to you. What do you think? Do you think he had his number? And was I right? Is Pep tactically inept?
I think you've got a good point. I think, you say the thing is with Pep, like, not that he doesn't have a plan B, but he goes for what he knows, and 99% of the time that works for him. And that 1% it doesn't. He doesn't really have a plan B. But one thing that I really liked about the team selection and the formation, putting Amrabat in that midfield gave Cobby space, because I don't know if you've noticed, the Palace game, other games, Cobby's not had that space. He's not had that kind of chance to do his thing. I won't even explain what that is. If you watch him, just the way he glides through the midfield and past defenders is crazy, but it frees him up. And Amrabat, I don't think he's getting enough praise, not from us, just from everyone. The last few games has made me think we need to be putting that £20 million offer in for him, because what a great squad player to have. And he really showed up, especially on Saturday. So I think it was just a perfect mix of good tactics, well thought out. You can tell that he'd clearly thought of a game plan. And like you said, he's lacked in that this season. That's something that I am critical of Ten Hag for. We don't have a style of play. And it looked like that we've been playing like that all season on Saturday, which is why, although it was amazing, it was kind of frustrating, because it's where's this been? But then you think, actually, players like Martinez make a massive difference. He's not been fit. Last Martinez and Varane pair, and that made me sad. But I think just generally, it all just went super well. I think the team actually knuckled down, listened to clearly what the coach had said, stuck to it. Because a lot of times, again, this season, you can tell they've started off in a certain shape, and 10, 20 minutes later, it's not there. So they kept it tight. Like I said, it was impressive to just see that they didn't really give City chance. Yes, City had the possession, but their press, it just was non-stop, and it was just so nice to see that. So I think it was a combination of Ten Hag did great, but I think the players actually put the shift in that we expected them to, and it just went super well. It couldn't have gone better. And yes, again, people are going, oh, well, City were terrible. City,
I don't think they were terrible.
City's standard of terrible isn't actually terrible. It's just because they are held to such a high standard, and they are a great team. They're a treble winning team. They've just won the league. To win the league, you've got to pretty much be flawless. No one's used to City being 70, 80, 90%. They're always 100%. So I'd say they were 90%. They still gave us a good game.
I don't think they were bad. They created.
And when, honestly, like Rebecca said, I'll be honest, I won't lie about this. When Doku scored that goal, I went out of the room until full time, because like I said to you before, I was I cannot watch this, because, we've held up 3-0 leads this season and bottled it. And I was just I cannot bear this noise afterwards if we don't win this trophy now by going 2-0 up. So I didn't trust them. And, once City had that momentum of, all right, we've got basically 15 minutes with added time to score another goal, they went for it. So it was great that they held back. I mean, they must have had a bit of a talking to about that. If we keep this lead, don't then go and be crap on the back. But it was just great. I think it all just went very well for us on Saturday, which doesn't happen often. So it's nice to be full of praise for once.
Honestly, it pains me to say, because I'm not a Man City fan, but I'm definitely not a Man United fan. But I don't think City were poor. I think they controlled large portions of the game well. They put you under pressure. They were creating opportunities. But Man United were just better. I think your players performed better. Your tactics I thought it was just such a clever tactical performance. And as I said, all Pep's answers is to swap one world-class player with another world-class player and hope that something happens, because I don't think he's got that capability of mixing it up or doing anything. I mean, Mr. Luke's agreeing with you there. The most annoying part of your performance is where was that in the Premier League games? And I think Sam said the tactics were spot on, narrow possession, blocking the routes of KDB and Foden. KDB, who was subbed off in another big game, incidentally. Using the width in transition, very disciplined. He liked a little bit of that. What else did I see? Sam, I'm going to take this as agreement with me. Second half tactic from City, just give it to Doku. What else have we got in here? There's loads of chat, so I do apologise for missing it. Weird Reaper Pep isn't a great coach in his opinion. He just makes players who are really good even better. And Sir Alex Arson, Jurgen Ranieri, Leicester are all better, but that's just him. And he's entitled to his opinion, and I agree-ish to an extent.
That's another point, actually. Like, again, in big games, like, where's Erling Haaland? Like, yes, he scores goals. I'm not going to sit here and say he's rubbish. He's not rubbish, but this is the thing that annoys me. Like, if Rashford played like Haaland and Foden did on Saturday, like, where are those players like that we've got, Bruno Fernandes, that show up in big games? Because I don't really think City had anyone on Saturday that, you know, went forward and went, right, we're taking this. Like, no one really seemed to do that. It was like, I feel like they kind of disrespected us and they weren't expecting it, and they were just like, meh, whatever, we're still hungover, we've won the league, like, okay, basically. And I'm glad they did, like, screw them, but we were the better team. And it's hard to say that when we had so little possession, but we took our chances and they didn't. So
it's not all about possession. Only one stat that matters. I mean, and in the chat, we haven't said hello yet to Sean. The sheep was saying, I hope we're well. And Sean has nominated us all for the Football Content Awards. Please, everybody, incidentally, check the Twitter. We have put a tweet out asking people to nominate us for the FCA Awards. Please do show some love. Nominate if you want to nominate individuals, which will probably be Charlotte, I imagine. Please do so.
There's no really individuals on this podcast. We're all a team, and that includes
Charlotte,
people in the chat as well.
I'm nominating you for that speech, just purely for that.
Yeah, I'll just talk about Bruno.
That's how to gain.
Bruno Fernandes.
That's going to be it.
Talk about United in a good way.
In the justification, she was really nice about Bruno. Really, really. and we admit to saying, Man City are the equivalent of paint that's taking too long to dry. But they are boring as poo. They keep hold of the ball for ages, but just can't do
Maybe
anything.
not for long. Maybe not for long. Be 25-1 to be relegated, and it's been the news is leaking that Pep might be leaving next year. So will it come in time? Will it come in time for these charges?
Who knows? And incidentally, down to the chat, and enjoy listening to Rebecca with the story of Accrington and Charlotte with the Rochdale story, which is very lovely. There was something else I saw that I can't remember where it was, but Grimmy, I mean, when you saw that formation, which I mean, again, was a new one to me, no recognised striker up front, even with Rashford on the pitch, there was still no recognised striker. Were you nervous going into it, or what were your feelings?
I mean, I felt a bit better about going into the match after the previous two games, because I thought we were probably going to lose to Newcastle and potentially get battered at Brighton as well, because of how the previous few weeks had gone. But going into it and seeing the shape, I was kind of like, well, this is what we've been working on the past few weeks. So I feel like this has maybe been part of the game plan to try and get us used to the system to go in against City. And it ended up, like I say, it ended up working brilliantly. Like you were saying before, Josh, about the fluidity of Garnacho and Rashford, I think that was quite effective, because if I remember rightly, like the first sort of 10-15 minutes, there was a couple of through balls for Rashford to chase onto, and Walker was all over him like a bad rash. And
like
basically, like a second girlfriend, or yeah, we'll leave that one there. And then basically what Rashford ended up doing was move more centrally, so he could give the central defenders a bit more of a problem, and then let the I think it was Dalot at left back give Walker a bit more of a run around. So yeah, I think tactically, I mean, Ten Hag got it absolutely spot on, and I think in big games he's shown he can do it. And I mean, I've seen it against Liverpool. I mean, yeah, it wasn't pretty when we went to Anfield and drew 0-0, but it was effective and it worked, and we got a point on the board. But we've seen it from Pep before. I know you say he's not tactically great. I think in big matches he does lack at times. Like obviously at the weekend he lacked there. I think if you look back at the but if you look at the Champions League final against Chelsea, he got that so wrong that Chelsea were able to somehow win that, and they were in a similar spot to us where they weren't really that great under Tuchel, but somehow found a way to get through and got that goal and held on for dear life, really. But yeah, I think Ten Hag tactically can get it right in those big games. It's just I want to see him now do it for that whole season again. And if he has that full squad back, because I think that has been a huge component of our season, is having so many injuries and missing the likes of Martinez and Varane at the back. having them back was such a big help on Saturday. But yeah, I think if we get the right players in over the summer and we keep Ten Hag, obviously that's a big question mark. If we keep him and get the right players in, I don't see why we can't have a good season next year.
There he is. Grimmy's a tactical genius. Pep wishes he was Grimmy.
He wishes he had my hair, maybe, but I think that's about it, probably.
He does. He does that hairline and the goatee, mate. And he wishes he
not
wore
the bank ones.
Oh, well, you know. Not going to comment. I'm not going to expose Grimmy's millions to everybody here. Graham said he keeps getting confused because his nickname is Grummy. So every time we speak to him, he thinks he's speaking to Grimmy. He almost feels popular. You are popular, Graham.
You are popular. We love you.
Popular and loved. Not a lot of people are loved by Charlotte. She just pretends to like me, and everybody else is grasping for her attention. So embrace it.
That's well harsh.
Graham was saying, what was it? Walker was on a second girlfriend or child support. No, he hides. Walker hides from child support agents. He doesn't like the exposure. He's shy.
Isn't it kind of difficult to do that when you play in front of cameras every single week, though? Just, just put that one out there.
Yeah, well, you know, it's accident. It's all accidents. He's so accident prone. He just falls and body parts just fling everywhere. And look in the chat, it's Claire. Hello, Claire. Thank you for joining us, and Driti as well. Thank you for joining us. Look at that. Look at that. Two of my favouriteest ladies, other than the three that are already on, and all the ones just all my podcasts for lady friends. The other two are there in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Hope everybody is doing all hunky dory. And before I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to move on from before we go on to anything else. I mean, Hannah, is there anything that you haven't said about this game, this performance? And I tell you what, question that I do have.
Ten Hag in.
That was it. I mean, do you think that it's fair that he had to deal with what he even got questioned after the game? This could be our last game. Nice one, Shiva.
That was so disrespectful. It really annoyed me. And I felt like going,
what a time.
Just because Newcastle are out of Europe, you shouldn't have to rely on us to get your European place. Yeah, I really hope he stays. I really do. If we sack him, it's going to be a massive mistake. And it'll be one of those things that we look back at it in, I'd say 3-4 years, but 6 months. Honestly, why would you sack a manager that has won a trophy in a season where you finish 8th? If you look at it, yes, the league table's terrible. But then, like I said earlier, the league is a marathon. He's managed to win us another trophy. And again, it's not just an energy drink cup. He's won the FA Cup. People downplay the FA Cup when we win.
Cups are cups.
People I've seen on Twitter, you celebrating an FA Cup. Damn right we're celebrating an FA Cup. It's not just a cup, it's proof that we can, do the competitions. It's proof that we can now play in Europe when we hadn't already had that. So if they sack him, I'm going to be really pissed off, because it's who else are you going to bring in that's going to win us another trophy? He's now won back-to-back seasons. That's amazing. And yes, our league position, our league performances were not good enough. They're not good enough. But how can, what is it? I think it's 71 injuries. That's insane. Statistically,
it was the highest in the league, wasn't it?
We have the highest in the league. So if Sir Jim does go, that's him done off the back of Saturday. And I think Saturday should earn him that respect for a few reasons. Number one, he beat Pep City, massive. Number two, the way he handled himself afterwards, he's not let these journalists and these pundits who have slated him all season relentlessly slide. He stood there and said to Alan Shearer, you all slag me off, but if I go somewhere else, I will go and win trophies. And he will. So I think if we get rid of him, it's going to be a massive mistake. So I really hope, they just one more season, see how he gets on. If he has another shocking season, fine. But worst case scenario, we've won 2 trophies in 2 years, 3 finals in 2 years. I'm not mad at that.
Is that the best since Alex Ferguson?
Yeah.
From a manager? Yeah.
That's what I mean,
First one do it back to back. Yeah.
It's so frustrating. There's so many reactionary fans. And yes, I've been so frustrated with him at some points this season. But A, he's a human being. And B, say whatever you want. He's got the hardest job in the world. I'm sorry, the pressure and the scrutiny that comes with being a Manchester United manager.
And let's be honest, it's one of the worst run clubs exactly
in
the football league.
Exactly. I'm going to really struggle to support them. And the thing is, if they finally got to the point where everyone goes, oh, he spent so much money. Well, these are his players, so let him manage his players. Like, don't go and sack him and then go and spend money that we don't have on players to fit another system and another manager. Because it's rinse repeat every 2 years with Manchester United. And it's like, there needs to be one manager that we go, right, we stick by him, enough's enough. But the other thing that's really annoying me is he's won this trophy, give him some respect, back him or sack him. Like this whole, oh, what's happening every single day in the media, we're being linked to new managers. Every single day it's, oh, today again, he's been sacked, it's official. I've literally been calling out so many big Manchester United Twitter fan pages today going, stop spreading fake news. Like it's not, until we get a Fabrizio Romano statement or a Manchester United statement, I'm not listening to it. And fans that continue to be like, oh, he needs to go, need a shake because we've just won the FA Cup. Like, I don't care how bad it's been this season. Like, you have to look at on paper, and I don't want to be this fan, but on paper, we've had a better season than Arsenal. I know that they've been contending with City all season. I get that. But on paper, we've won a trophy and they've got nothing to show for their season. So I will not be happy if they sack him, basically.
If you want to piss Hannah off, Ineos, that's the way to go.
Know what to do.
She's got to. She goes to games. She'll be there smashing your heads in.
It'll be like down there. You don't want it to get like Groundhog Day, do you? Where you're continuously like sacking managers and then back to square one and again and again and again. And like we've said, as much as it's obviously frustrating, it's like 3 finals has got you to. You've won 2 without them 3. The other one obviously lost to Manchester City last season. So
it's Mourinho-esque, isn't it?
Tactical genius, mate.
And you know, for me, whether you like him or not, I think you've got to stop that cycle of flipping and changing and blasting through loads of money and then getting rid of the manager that all of these players are set up for. You've got to do it, and there is pressure there. But unfortunately, Hannah's not going to be able to stick with us throughout the entire the duration. So we are going to lose her. But I tell you what, Hannah, before you go, would you tell us where people can find you, and then you need to tee Charlotte up for some Mason Mount love.
Oh, Mason Mount love. I can't continue talking, but I'll be jumping off and tuning into this Mason Mount love. Let me tell you, because he played some pictures yesterday, and he was great. But where you can find me, so my Twitter @ is here. I can never do it. There we go. @ United
winning.
And if you find me on Twitter, you'll find like all of my links. Like I'm heavily pushing my TikTok. So if you could go on my TikTok right now, I'd be most grateful. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's always nice to come on after a win because there's been some dark times this season, but we'll see you all very soon. We're doing stuff throughout the Euros, aren't we? So
we're going to be doing the Euros stuff.
Get to see this face soon. But thank you for having me, and I'll see you all soon.
I'll catch you later, alligator.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Oh God! Look how big my face has suddenly come.
Sit back.
Jesus, look at that! It just reminded me just how awful I look. But I actually, she didn't tear you up for that Mason Mount love, Shah. But for all the people that was giving Mason Mount grief for, because I only read it, I didn't watch the last couple of minutes because I was too worried that City might come back and do something. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So I thought I don't want to watch it. But I saw a lot of people that were giving Mason Mount the John Terry treatment, but that wasn't true. He came on apparently. How did Mason Mount do for you, and how did it make you feel?
To be honest, I didn't see it because I was at my cousin's wedding, but just seeing the pictures afterwards and just seeing him happy and smiling, and apparently 6 times is lost at Wembley, I think, for Chelsea in the finals, and the 7th time, bearing in mind, is number 7. He wins it. He finally gets his medal.
He's the reason then. He is it.
He's the reason.
He is it. And look in the chat. We've got Kieran. Hello, Kieran. It's Naughty Norman. Kieran himself. I'm trying to think. Where else shall we go with this? I mean, before we move on, I mean, Rebecca, do you have anything else that you haven't covered on this FA Cup game before we go into some of the mental madness in football at the moment?
I mean, if you wanted to cover what could happen next season with the lack of replays.
Oh, we will in a moment. You get yourself
Right.
geared up, ready for that one.
Can I
'Cause
just mention some news as well, what I think's coming out? Obviously, Kieran McKenna was heavily linked with Manchester United and Chelsea,
yeah.
but it's looking like he's going to be signing a new long-term contract with Ipswich. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Very, very wise man. I mean, Grimmy, it's not been a lot of love for United this season. It's been hard. It's been difficult. It's felt a little bit like being smashed in the knackers, I imagine.
Me, Sam, and Hannah, like I've tried to spread the love for United.
I've just been calling it as I see it. So as you can imagine, it hasn't been
miserable.
nice. I just upset people. That's just my life at the moment. But Grimmy, hey, what is there anything that you would like to say about this game before we move on to anything else?
It was just unbelievable. I still can't believe we actually won that game. Going into it, I watched it with my family. My uncle went, "So what do you think the score's going to be?" And I just closed my eyes and just went 2-1 United, and like didn't believe it for a second. But then when we got the second goal, I was like, "Oh, hang on, there's a chance here." And then when they like everyone said when City got that first one, I was like, "Oh, here we go." But honestly, it was a phenomenal day, and one like everyone's been saying in the press, I think it's going to go down in history as probably one of the best days post Fergie. I think, if not maybe possibly the best day, I would say. But yeah, just fantastic day overall, and hopefully there's more to come. But again, you got to enjoy them while they're there because you don't know when the next one is. So we'll take it as it is.
It's true. I like I said, as a neutral watching the game, keeping my neutral hat on, I could easily say when Pep Guardiola was moaning after the game, going, "The best team didn't win." You were full of shit, Pep. You were full of shit because the best team won. Your City team crab passing it all along the pitch like boring old farts. Wasn't good enough to beat a team playing good football with a manager who knew what he was doing. So
can I just mention one more thing as well before we move on?
As long as he's abusing Pep.
No, it's not. Sorry. I just want to say, like, what a bunch of upcoming talent. Obviously, Mainu, Garnacho, Højlund as well, because I know there's been a lot of critics on Rasmus Højlund, bearing in mind this is his first season and he's still very young as well. And obviously, Amad Diallo. So I think them four, what talents, and this is what I do like about obviously, and Liverpool are the same, like your Manchester United and your Liverpools, you see a lot of your youngsters coming through, and I do really like that.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere it was something like Man United have had like a debuting local player in every squad for like 27 seasons or something stupid like that.
No, I think it's we've had a player in the academy, like it's going like a long time, like possibly 60s to 50s, or maybe going that far back. I can't remember the stat, but I know which one you're referring to. But it's a very long time.
It was, and it was. I agree with you, Sean. It's good to see good young players being brought through, and it doesn't have to be British players. It's good to see academy players and local players coming through, but just good young players given an opportunity in general.
Also, Rashford as well. Obviously, we saw him upset at the end when obviously he won the trophy, and I think for Marcus Rashford now, I know he's recently, I think tonight, put a tweet on saying he's having a break from social media, and I think all this with like the England squad and not getting in it and things like that, I think it could actually do Marcus Rashford the world of good, because I think after obviously what happened at the previous Euros with the racism and everything and the penalties, and then obviously going straight into the season and then having a World Cup and then so much pressure going on, obviously I think he's broke up with his fiance. I think he's lost his cousin as well. He's got so much going on in his personal life. I think he just needs to just chill and have time for himself, because I do feel like he's under masses and masses of pressure, Marcus Rashford, and I feel like this break, and obviously it is sad to see, I don't think he deserved to be picked, to be honest, and I think he's right in not getting picked, Marcus Rashford, but I think it could also like make him and also give him the break that he does need, because there's a lot that's happened over the last few seasons with him.
Yeah, I agree. I think don't get me wrong, I don't think he's a world beater, but I think there's a player in there, and no one deserves the level of vitriol and abuse that he has had. And like you said, it could be nice to have this, but if he takes it in the right way, it could be good to have a break. And you could see a fresh Marcus Rashford coming through. Although I did see on Twitter lots of players saying, "Oh, do you think we should sign him at Arsenal?" which yeah, can't see that one coming. But in the chat, look at this. I'm loving all this Pep Guardiola. That's right. And GT, I knew there was a reason why I liked you. And it's like, couldn't agree more. That Pep's a fraud. And Mr. Luke, Pep needs to realise that unlike Pokemon, you cannot win them all. That was my attempt at the accent as well. Did you like that one? I got the words right. I just couldn't get.
Do you know what I'd love from Pep Guardiola? Just for him to go into a random team where nothing's set up, because I feel like he's such a good coach, as we're all saying, but I feel like everywhere he's been, he's either had the players or he's had the finances and stuff. It's like even at Barcelona side that he had, then going into Bayern Munich and then obviously Manchester City with all this money. I would love for him to go into a random team and see how we do to try and build them up and stuff, like a little bit of a mini project. No, but I don't think it'd happen.
Nah, it's a different challenge, and that's why managers like Sir Alex and Klopp and that have more respect from myself and like in Mourinho at Porto, because they've gone somewhere that isn't set up and made them better and made them something. I mean, you got to remember the United that Alex Ferguson took over is not the United of when he left. They were a very different squad, and he had also been at what he did at Aberdeen as well, which is just wild. It's just wild. I can say nice things about him now because he's retired.
Sam's comment made me laugh.
I said Pep the Swindon. That would be interesting.
Simon's comment as well. No, we've got Jim McNulty. We are not sacking Jimmy Mack or Pep Guardiola even. Jimmy Mack all the way.
Yeah,
Jimmy McNulty, Josh.
What else have we got? There was something else. Kieran thinks Baldy would be useless at the mid-table. I'm not sure if he's talking about me or Pep. I'm going to assume no that's Pep because he wouldn't be so mean to me. And Rabbit Man saying, good evening, ladies. Hope you're correct about my beloved Ipswich Charlotte. I have also seen that. I've seen Hugh McKenna has extended his contract. I've seen talk of that somewhere as well. So hopefully, and I think that's a wonderful decision that he's made. Mr. Pep the Great Ted. I mean, Becky spoke.
Absolutely
I mean,
I'm a Black Spartans fan, so I have to say that. I'm sorry.
But Becky, you mentioned, I mean, the format of the FA Cup is changing next season. So there's not going to be any replays, which I don't like personally. I know if you didn't know, Charlotte is not a fan. If you watch the lower league show at some point, you will see that. But I mean, Rebecca, what do you want to say on the format and what's it going to look like?
Well, it's going to be a shambles, to be honest. I think it's just going to end up being more like the Carabao Cup and become a bit of like a worthless one. The whole point of the FA Cup is how many teams it includes. You go from the Prem to National, I think. Yeah. Even further down.
Even below, yeah.
Even below. And to be taking away replays, it's going to massively affect it. In terms of the way that they've gone about it, for one, I don't like. They only spoke to Premier League clubs, not the
that's wild, isn't it?
So how a replay between Accrington and Doncaster is going to affect a Premier League club, I do not know. They're not playing, they're not doing anything. It's Accrington and Doncaster on a cold, snowy Tuesday night. It's not doing anything to the Prem clubs. And it's also a case of the money that it is taking away from the lower league sides and the dreams it can be taking away. I think I saw a tweet from an Accrington player. If it wasn't for a replay, he couldn't live out his dream of playing at Anfield. And it's little things like that where this payout can see a club go through a season. And the effect that it can have is going to be massive. And in terms of like the FA Cup in general, if it's extra time and penalties, you're still going to have certain managers, players, whoever, coming out and saying, we're overplaying, there's no need for it. Say they've got 3 matches in a week. If you, yes, there are pros and cons to replays, as many people will say, you've got fixture congestion, but it works. Why are you changing something that works in the end? And I think that I can go on about this for ages, but they need to rethink it and they need to include the teams that this affects more than anything.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. Do you know what you say about the elongated game? For me, that's more dangerous than an extra game when you're going to extra time and penalties. You're adding on like an extra half an hour onto a game, which potentially, because of added time on now, could have already been 100 minutes, 110 minutes, and then another half an hour plus any extra bit. That's much more dangerous, surely, than another game. I mean, Bayern saying and Bayern and Sam bring up the same point. Managers complain about fixture congestion. Newcastle go to Australia right if the season ended and play a game, and Sam's called it absolute horse poop. And I think we've got Shiva said the FA have been dodgy for 30 odd year, only in it for the quids themselves, without a care in the world for the smaller clubs, which I completely agree with. Keevan's agreeing with you. There's 729 clubs part of the FA Cup this season, only 20 got the decision on getting rid of replays, and then I think he's hurt his finger on a needle. He's talking about he's got a prick there. And Dreedy, as a Bradford fan, if we didn't have a replay against Millwall in 2014, we wouldn't have had probably one of the best days of your life going to Stamford Bridge and beating Chelsea in the 4th round. I mean, as I think all three of you have a lower league team that you follow. It is a bit of a dream killer, isn't it? I mean, Rebecca, for you, is surely that must be a little bit sad, at the least.
Like Dreety said, if it wasn't for one of our replays, we wouldn't have played Leeds at home. Like, we played Boreham Wood in a replay, and if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have had Leeds at Accrington, and that was one of the best days I've seen at Accrington. The fans it brought, yes, we saw like new fans come and you're like, oh, they're just here because it's Leeds, but we enjoyed it. The atmosphere, even though we got beat, the whole crowd did not stop singing for Accrington, and it was like one of the best feelings that we've had. So it's like, if we hadn't have had the replay against Boreham Wood, then that it might not have happened. And it's also a case of the replays for even lower down, so like Boreham Wood, they got the money from the Accrington fans going, and then coming to Accrington, they got to play at our ground. So it's like, it can be seen from both sides, but it is just really sad because we are now limited to, it feels, what we can experience. And in terms of players, as you said, Josh, the injuries that can come from the extra 30 minutes, it's madness. The amount of cramp that you're seeing, hamstrings can just go at any point, and it's just to have the replay. Yeah, injuries can still happen in a replay, but at least you've had that time to recover, like regroup and everything, whereas just the extra 30 minutes at the end, you're like, oh, why?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to I'm covering like supporting a lower league club and Man United. I mean, you've got I'm casting no aspersions because that's fine. People can have two clubs. Nobody get upset about it. I mean, you're going to have sort of two feelings towards it because I mean, a sort of from your lower league perspective, obviously, as Rebecca said, it's an opportunity for your team to play bigger games, got those replays. From a Man United perspective, I don't understand the negative personally. Where do you sit on that?
Oh, I'm fully 100% with the lower league clubs. I think it's crazy they've got rid of it. I understand Premier League clubs why they would want to get rid of it. I don't agree with it. I understand what they're trying to do and change things, but I think it's ridiculous in terms of trying to change it because you're taking away, again, like Rebecca's saying, those memories you're going to get of having those big teams visit or getting to go to those stadiums with your much smaller team who are running on basically the dregs of whatever the Premier League club gives them basically at times, and not having that opportunity to have those special FA Cup moments. That's what the FA Cup's built on. That's what, how many times do you see the Blythe Spartans run from 1970s when they played Newcastle at St. James's get brought up, or, you know, all these smaller clubs. I mean, for me personally, I've only been going to Blythe games for a couple of years because I've only lived here a few years, but we played Wrexham just after Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, I think I've pronounced that right, took over. And it was sort of this big like rush of fans. We had like almost 3,000 fans on the day at the Spartans ground for the first leg. And we ended up nicking an equaliser right at the end and then got that replay to go to Wrexham. Now, granted, it's not like Leeds United or anything like that, but that's still like a moment of the season for little old Blythe Spartans who have to put everything together to be able to just put a budget together to survive the season. So like taking that away is just, it's horrific for clubs, because unless you get like a really lucky draw and you get like Anfield away or something like that, you're not going to get that replay where they maybe come to your place, or you don't see the Man United Newport County game earlier on in the third round. And for me, if I was to change it, for me, the way I would fix it and bring back the replays is I would get rid of the Carabao Cup. Just make the FA Cup a whole season, and you get that chance to have the replays and have that build up to the final like we used to have. Because for me, I think the Carabao Cup is pretty much pointless at this point, and no one really is interested until the semi-final, because it is just those football league clubs that are involved. Once the FA Cup has those sort of giant killers coming through, everyone's interested from round 3 onwards, and it's far more entertaining to watch.
I mean, and Ryan in the chat is asking, is it permanent or just for next season? I think it's for the next 6 seasons, and then it's going to be reviews. I think it's 6 seasons is going to be dropped for. Duty say Maidstone United going to Ipswich and beating them 2-1. That would have been huge for the fans, players, and everyone associated.
It's not just about the memories though, because we've obviously got Ben on our lower league podcast, and the money that they actually got from that cup run, they were buying a new boiler for the club. So it's things like that and things that obviously keep the football club running. And we've all seen it in recent seasons, especially after COVID, all these clubs that are suffering money-wise and obviously are really, really struggling. Obviously, Swindon's the latest one as well, who are really struggling. We've seen Southend, Rochdale as well. And you just think the money that the memories, don't get me wrong, as a fan, it's absolutely fantastic. But the money that one good cup run can do for your club is just, this is what annoys me the most. And it's like, we've had cup runs against Leeds, we've had it against Nottingham Forest, Spurs as well, Newcastle. And it's like those kind of like fan bases that come to Rochdale, and the money that we take from them and being on TV, that can like pay like wages, that can also keep like a player for like a season longer so we don't have to sell them. It can keep the club running, it can pay bills. And as much as the memories are so good, and obviously being a football fan is so good to experience, like I would rather get like cup runs and things like that to keep the club sustainable. And this is what frustrates me so much about all this fixture congestion and things like that, because we're exactly the same. Don't get me wrong, we don't have the Champions League and stuff, we're not in the Carabao Cup anymore, but like from the EFL downwards, they have so many games. It's like the lower clubs, after I think it's about 5 or 6 qualifying rounds to even get to the FA Cup first round, we have to have a qualifying round. We've got the FA Trophy and all of these games as well. It's like internationals from like the football pyramid, from the EFL right down to National League. You also have internationals playing as well. Right, Rochdale have got one. It's madness, but we still have that. But we don't have the squad depth and the academies that these other clubs have. It's like we announced last week that our academy can't actually go on anymore. I think it's from 17 upwards. We've had to like get rid of our academy because of this. And I feel like all of these like entitled like Premier League managers, which I do agree with fixture congestion, don't get me wrong, and for players and stuff, I think it is hard, and like what the effect can have on their bodies and things, I do get that and I sympathise with them. But you just think of the lower league players that we don't have the squad depth like all of the Premier League clubs, and that's what infuriates me the most, because they're only seeing it from their arrogance and the money side of it. And yeah, they do bring a lot of money into like football, and these players and these managers, these big names, I'm not disputing that for a second. But if you're going to do something about it, maybe like do something in the FA Cup where your lower league clubs are going to guarantee get a decent draw or something. Like, so it's fair.
Well, the FA Cup
It's like,
doesn't pay the Premier League teams any money because, let's be fair, they don't need it. They don't need a single penny of it. I mean, the immorality of money in football just pisses me off beyond belief, because it's just every player, manager is paid far too much money. The clubs have got far too much money. It is something that I struggle with quite significantly from a fiscal aspect. I mean, and a lot of my families, I live in Coventry, and I was at the last Cov game of the season against QPR, which the less said, the better. But during the game, they were talking about, some of the players that they were going to be losing, like O'Hare and some of the big names. But there wasn't as much negativity because of that cup run. They probably were all sort of saying, we're going to have a bit of money to spend, though. So even if we lose one or two, we'll be able to sort of make a difference and bring some players in. And that's the difference. And if you remove that, like you said, it's fiscally, there is a responsibility for the Premier League to help sustain that pyramid, regardless of the arrogance, the elitism. Bollocks to that. If there isn't that pyramid there, you don't exist. And I think Shiv was saying here, Vic Parry said something about the gap between the Premier League and Championship in the 90s was 30 million. Today it's a couple of billion. I'm probably even more so, which is true. And I agree with you, Shai. It's that fiscal element that really people need to remember and makes such a difference to the future of a team. And I think, Simon was saying Thomas Frank complained about replays, but the replay kept Brentford in business.
That's what annoys me. I said that on earlier on in the show, didn't I? It's like Nuno as well. It just annoys me because I feel like you have been in this situation before. And it's like, they don't want to play these replays, but then there's this whole new Champions League and European football coming into it. And God. It's like, brilliant. Well, what's that going to do for us at the bottom?
And if you don't want to play a replay, win a game of football against a team that you should beat anyway. It drives me mad. In the chat, we've got a Scarfy Spurs talk. Good evening, Scarfy. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. And Spenny fan Chris joins us like an hour 10 late. Do you know what? It's
because I'm Spennyroll fans. Like, what is going on here? What is this show?
I tell you, we spread the love everywhere. Do you know what it was? There was no games for him to update us on. I bet if there was a live game, Spenny be in there telling us the scores all the way through. And the Spenny fans saying another team resigned from the lower leagues a couple of days ago. Colville Town folded their men's first team. And it is sad. I miss it saying more of the decision, a poo decision overall. It is true. It is. And like Graham said, radical approach, play a strong team. I mean, before we move on from the FA Cup, I'm not going to read this one out, but I sort of agree with the comment because I don't want like Spotify.
It's not wrong.
If do you know what? We drop the F-bomb all the time. I was going to say, I realised I was uploading an episode and I actually uploaded your Thursday episode, Charlotte.
Don't drop us in it.
There's an option that says, what is this, like no rating, safe for children or explicit? And I think it was clear on. So are we going to end up with podcasts with a little ease rating next week?
Sorry.
It was funny. Just because Claire just says fucking stuff. But what we were talking about, the approach to the game. I mean, the last thing I want to sort of touch on before we move on is, do you think? I mean, I'll ask you, Grimmy, again with your head in both camps, and then I'll ask Rebecca. Rebecca also supports Everton as well. For wrong team in Liverpool, but we love him anyway.
Right team, in my opinion, but yeah.
But there's going to be that change of approach. Do you think there's going to be a change of approach to the Premier League teams that they're going to go strong first time? Or do you have a feeling it's going to push more towards the Carabao Cup where it's just not going to be treated with the same level of respect? For start with you, Grimmy, what do you think from a Man United perspective?
I mean, I'd like to say they're going to put a strong team out, but logic dictates that they probably won't. If it's just a one-off game, they think our reserves or our youngsters can probably get us through it, and we'll send them out and keep a few of the first teams on the bench to try and rescue us if we need it at the end, which is kind of sad, really, because again, that Newport County away game that we had, we put out a first team and we were 2-0 up, and Newport came back at 2-2. I know we ended up winning it in the end, but it's moments like that really that make the FA Cup so special, because things like that can happen, and it's like, oh well, we beat Man United, but we beat the reserve team. Kind of takes the shine off it a little bit. I mean, it still won't for those home team fans, I'm sure, but it's. I do think there is a concern that Premier League teams will go, right, well, we've got these extra 10 European games because we've got this new league system. Where's the game we can sort of put the youngsters out? Oh, it's the Carabao and the FA Cup because they don't, A, bring us enough money, and 2, don't really matter as much unless we're in the semi-final or the finals. So, yeah, I agree that it might be a little bit of a fear there on that one.
I just like that A and 2.
A and 2, yeah. It's been a long day.
I mean, as Sam said, it depends on circumstance. If the team's in Europe and the value that the club placed on it. I mean, I'm obviously Grimmy United will have that European this next season. He will the European hat on. Rebecca, being an Everton fan, I don't think Everton got into Europe this season. But you're still in the Premier League. Enjoy that.
What a low blow that was on poor
know.
Rebecca. Out of everyone to pick on this show tonight, you go for Rebecca.
After everything I've been through with Everton and still going through.
All right, Liverpool won't be in Europe next year. After next year, because Klopp's gone.
I've got to enjoy it while I can, you know, because apparently we lost the title to Goodison. I keep hearing. I mean, from an Everton perspective, do you
So
think
I've got a blue light on.
Do you think, and do you want Everton to put that strongest team out, or do you also have a worry that they might just go weak in it?
I mean, for us, in terms of like the FA Cup for Everton, especially with the situation we're in at the moment and in recent seasons off autumn, I think a cup run is as important for us as it is for in terms of like Accrington. Like money wise for Accrington is even better, but in terms of like Everton, it's an odd one because I do think we put a strong enough team out no matter who we're against in terms of the cup. I mean, we've played like quite lower league teams when we've been in the cup. I think we had Boreham Wood the other season, and we're still, apart from the fact we had Solomon Rondon up front, we still had quite a strong team out. The fact that he got us through that FA Cup match baffles me. I think that's like one of the only matches he scored in. But I do think it's also out of respect to the club you're playing against to put out that strong side. I mean, for us, it's like a good run out to get players back fit in terms of like Calvert-Lewin, because we know he's full of injuries half of the time. So it's like, for us, a good cup run is a great cup run to try and get the fans back on board. I mean, this season we got knocked out by Luton. I think they nearly did like the treble over us this season. But we drew at Luton, which stopped them from doing it. But yeah, in terms of it's an odd one for us, but I do think we would still put out a strong team because a cup run is important for us to at least try and do something, especially with just giving the fans something to celebrate over the last seasons. I mean, the ownership's gone pear-shaped again, so it's a bit like.
I mean, I will say, I think you'll put us a strong team because Daishi is just a legend.
Yes,
a legend.
In the tracksuit. In the tracksuit, we're gonna go far.
Do you know what? I just love him. It's so like it's such a weird complex for me because like I love Daishi. He's such a hero, but I don't want to support Everton as well. It's just I feel all topsy turvy. But look, I'm going to apologize. Look at this, all this love that you're getting. I'm getting told off. Then you're getting up the toppies from GT. Simon's telling me off as well. Mr. Luke's telling me off as well. I love Rebecca. I think you're fabulous, Rebecca. I think you're wonderful. I just wish we supported the same team, but you know,
Rebecca done.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But we don't have football getting in the way on this show. We love each other anyway. And she loves Sean Dyche. I thought Sean Dyche is just a legend. And look at
Simon.
There's
always one.
There's always one. Ask any Everton fan; they love him in the tracksuit because I think we went on one of our best streaks in that tracksuit. I don't think he washed it the entire time because we won.
You know what? He looks like a man that doesn't need to wash. Just dirt is just terrified of clinging to him. It just falls off. Like, bear sweat. What the fuck are you doing on your sweat? It's like, sorry, Sean. That's all. He's just man, isn't he? That bloke.
Imagine you wore that when we had our first points deduction. I mean, we went on and won near enough every match after that. we'd have been unstoppable if we had tracksuit dash for like that whole half.
Tracksuit dash. I love it.
We'd have been flying up the table. It's also one of them where completely kind of off topic, but tracksuit dash. In what he's done with our players in that tracksuit is incredible. So can we just change our kit to the whole squad wear tracksuits next season? Because everyone in just a matching dash tracksuit, we'd be
Do you
ready.
know what he does? He lets them all wear it in training for a little bit. He's like, you can wear this.
Everyone gets a turn.
Yeah. Someone's having a bit of a stinker at our time to put tracksuit on, and they'll come out a different player.
Oh, we should have a tracksuit day on here. Where we all wear tracksuits.
Nice tracksuit day.
In honour of Sean Dash.
Yeah,
Tracksuit Monday.
The players are like, I'm having a bad one, Gaff. I don't know what to do. Yeah, get the tracksuit on, son. There you go.
Just before a penalty shootout, Pickford comes out in a tracksuit. He's like, I'm ready to
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope he wears it for England.
Oh God. Well, hopefully we don't need it, but yeah, if we do, we need call upon it.
I'd love to see tracksuit dash for England. I think you missed a trick there. He's
give
your
it
man.
to get Southgate a tracksuit. We might be onto something here.
Yeah.
What about his
But it has
waistcoat?
to be like the same with Dash's.
Sean Dyche's actual tracksuit.
Yeah.
He'd be like, yeah,
Like
this is
two
what it feels
sizes
like to
too
be
big. It's like hanging off his arms. Like
this is what you feel like to be a real man.
I think he auctioned it off for charity.
Did he?
I think
Don't tell me that, because I would have bought that bad boy. I'd be wearing that on the pod. I don't know, masking tape out the Everton bit.
I was going to say, what about the big, massive Everton badge there? Like,
I just want to wear something. I'd have his underwear. I tell you, he's all man.
I
I feel so manly. Put him in a Dyche's, because you know he wears manly Y fronts as well. Proper budgie smugglers. Get in.
And you call my lower league show? Never spoke about Football Manager's underwear.
Until now.
it's not as odd as the other week when I had like a full science lesson last time I was on.
You did. I educated him on eminers and, that injection that women have after their pregnancy and all of that jazz.
So is that the title of this week's pod? Sean Dyche's pants.
The gaffer's smuggler. I can't. I could go on because I got all these things running in my head, but this is a time when my wife's like, "This is when you move on. You can put that to one side. Move on." While we're talking about managers, we'll have a little bit of manager talk before we faithfully depart this evening. So Chelsea, as Charlotte said, mentally got rid of Pochettino for reasons I can't quite understand at the moment. But I thought you might have a bit of insight on this one. So I believe it is the Leicester manager, whose name I'll butcher, Enzo Maresca.
He was Pep Guardiola's number 2 at Manchester City. I think, to be fair, I think it's a very good opportunity for him, especially with Leicester obviously coming up, and they've got that initial points deduction, haven't they? I'm sure they have. Obviously, I think it's a good opportunity for him. He's obviously got contacts as well. I think they need someone like an up-and-coming manager, but I think with Chelsea fans now, they need to realise that with this young squad that they have got, it will take time. And obviously, they need to give this manager time, because it wasn't an appointment that I thought they'd get. I thought they'd go for obviously a big name, but it's not worked, obviously, previously, or when it does start working, decide to sack the big name, which honestly, it baffles me, because I've come on here and said, obviously, I didn't get the Pochettino thing. I don't think he's an outright winner, what Chelsea fans obviously want, but I think he can do well with youngsters. Obviously, we've seen that at Southampton. We've seen that at Tottenham as well. I think he's got the ability to do that. But what I didn't get was how they got rid of him just as they were doing well, and kind of it got the best out of the players. So I don't know if it was a mutual agreement, like was said, if he just didn't want to carry on. I don't know what went on there. But I think with Chelsea, they do need to give this new manager time. Obviously, he's done a very good job at Leicester. But yeah, I don't think it will be like an instant change with Chelsea. I think we do need to build on it.
They're mental, aren't they? They are a mental car. And as Graham said, they'll never work with bonkers Bowley running things.
What with this appointment though, what I am thinking is, I think he did Todd Bowley, if I am right. I think he did hire some sporting like directors and people with more of a football knowledge in last season, I think it was. So I'm wondering now whether they are going to bring on these young players and kind of like
I did read something,
here. Yeah, whether they've kind of said this is the man to get rather than splash out on like a top name, because I know there was rumours of Mourinho coming back, and obviously Tommy Tuchel, who I do love, to be fair. But
Tommy Two Toes.
No.
That's his gangster name.
But yeah, I think they do need to give this manager time because obviously it's proved he can do it at Leicester. Obviously Chelsea's like a bigger step up kind of thing. But yeah, I think they just need to get on board Chelsea with the fact that it will be a project now and it will take seasons to build. And obviously they did have a lot of success when Roman Abramovich were there and under like Mourinho and then Conte and all these other managers as well. So I think they just need to take a step back and kind of go down the road that Mikel Arteta's doing and has done. And obviously, as we've seen Ten Hag do as well,
And
Jürgen.
You're
so needy to bring that man
Isn't
into every
it?
conversation.
I am. He was there. He might not be there anymore.
I would have brought him into the conversation, but you were nasty to Rebecca, so I was like, no, that's not now. Hell no.
For that answer, that I mean, my only thing is, I feel like for me, it's like a bit of a question of character, because if you've worked with the club and you've taken them up on that journey, personally, I think you've got the obligation that you should then take them through that league. And I think it looks for me a bit bad on the character of the man to then think it is a great opportunity for him. But if you bank it on yourself, this might shock you. I would imagine the Chelsea job will be up again next summer. So it's not like this isn't your only shot at becoming Chelsea manager.
The payout he'll get anyway, even if he has like 6 months there, the payout he will get after that will be massive. Yeah. Probably sort him out for life. But I do kind of get it. I do kind of get that as well, Josh, and I do understand where you're coming from, and I'd feel the same, especially as a Leicester fan. I think I'd be a bit disappointed, obviously getting him up and stuff. But then I think like this is an opportunity. Maybe obviously this is his time. The points deduction with Leicester as well. Maybe he had that in the back of his mind, and obviously you don't know what's going on behind the scenes at Leicester, whether they're going to give him the budget and the finances to kind of compete in the Premier League.
Which is sort of why they went down, wasn't it? Because I don't think they were spending very well towards the tail end.
And I just think, with Chelsea, obviously, as much as I do like Leicester, Chelsea's like a bigger club and stuff, and maybe he just wants to challenge himself and kind of, make a name for himself.
They spend money, apparently, Chelsea as well. I don't know if anybody's seen. They're pretty easy going with that checkbook. I mean, the comment I brought from Simon, who's saying that Leicester very nearly bottled it. I didn't see enough of him. Was he a good manager at Leicester? Obviously, they got promoted, but did he do it with panache, or how did he do? How was he?
To be fair, like Simon's in the chat saying about Leicester bottling it, but they need to realise as well, a lot of Leicester's players did go to African nations. So they were missing some of the players, obviously, when they went to African nations. And you noticed a lot of the top teams in the Championship, no one wanted to win it at this point. Like we've seen Leeds obviously bottle it. Southampton were up there, bottled it. Ipswich at one point, like they were falling off a cliff, Ipswich, but then managed to pull it back. So I feel like a lot of these teams did have that blip. But I also think as well, it got to the point where in the Championship last season, there was a lot of good teams, and a lot of the lower teams, obviously fighting relegation, were gaining points on the higher teams. And it was a very competitive league last season, which it will be again this season as well. And I feel like Leicester did lose a lot of players, and that was when they kind of went on the downward spiral when some of the top names went to African nations and stuff. So I can't really say that they bottled it, because in the end, they obviously did go and win it, didn't they? So, but I think the gap that they had at the start, and then obviously teams were coming up and then Ipswich were top and then vice versa and things like that. I do think obviously they did struggle, but at the end of the day, they still won it. They still got up there, especially once their players came back from injury and the cup.
Yeah. I mean, Rebecca, again, you watch more lower league football than I do. Do you think he'll do a good job at Chelsea, or do you think this is just a lovely opportunity for a great big payout so you don't have to work for another year?
I think it's going to be an interesting one to watch more than anything, like whether he does do well or not. I mean, as Charlotte said, he was the second with Pep, so he does understand the Prem to an extent. And you've seen that he's been able to do what he's done with Leicester, who they didn't lose too many over the summer, I don't think. So it was one of them. It's still like quite a Prem side that Leicester had in the Championship. And it's one of them where he's been able to get success with them. Whether it's the right move, I see from like a fan's perspective, I would have liked him to see his first season out with Leicester in the Prem. But if you're to offer any manager the job of Chelsea, I think that the money that will be in it is quite a good one. So they're going to do that. But I've been saying the same about Ipswich's manager. Like when he's been linked to all of these other clubs, it's like you want them to see the first season out in the Prem with that team that they've just got up from like the football fan perspective. But I do think he could do quite a good job. I mean, the money aspect of it is going to be like quite a big one in terms of how much Chelsea are spending, which I won't cover too much because that just frustrates me. But yeah, I do think it'll be quite a good one, and it's just going to be an interesting watch, I guess. But we're going to end up turning into Everton with how many they're sacking at this point.
He's worked as well with a couple of the players, obviously from previously you were at City, so like your Raheem Sterling's, obviously Cole Palmer as well.
Yeah.
So he'll know a couple of them. So it'd be very interesting to see if he can bring the best out of Raheem Sterling, because I know he's been a bit up and down, hasn't he? Obviously in the Chelsea side. Obviously I can't say bring the best out of Cole Palmer, because what a phenomenal season he had, obviously at Chelsea. But it'd be very interesting to see like what he can do with them. And I feel like a lot of people are quite underwhelmed with this appointment, but I think it'll be a very good appointment for him. I just think they've got to be very, very patient.
No. And Chelsea are well known for their patience with all of their managers, so that'll be interesting. You mentioned Kevin McKenna's linked with a couple of clubs in the Premier League, but no, I think he is staying at Ipswich by the looks of it. I think about 16 minutes before we came onto the pod, I think I saw on Sky that Enzo had been given permission to speak with Chelsea. So in theory, should be going on. Claire agrees with you, Shah. She apologized. She had to put her little daughter at the bed. I name dropped you, Claire, when I was talking about the rating for the show in regards to like age. And that would she missed that one. Vardy to Chelsea from Graham, and Spenny fan Chris updated us. Dusseldorf 0, Bochum 3 for your aggregate. Go into penalties for the game that one is. I just love it. Spenny's all over everything. He's over it, and Claire agrees. That's right. She brings the excitement. People think I'm unruly and on the edge. God, can you imagine? I've done a pod with Claire. Jesus. Can you imagine if you had a dump button? Something Sam said as well. Potter to Leicester. He's heard back to Brighton rumours too. So I'm looking at Sky Bet. Graham Potter is the lead man in regards to Brighton.
I love that.
Well, Potter to go back and then smash Chelsea. The first game. I tell you who is on there, and I won't get into it too much because this isn't the Thursday show with all the cool kids play. Liam Rosner is on the list as well. I think he's like fourth down. Shaw, he did. What do you think? He did bits last season.
Yeah, I just can't see anything, but I really want Graham Potter to go back, because I feel like he was doing such a good job there, and obviously Chelsea didn't really give him the chance that they should have, and I just would love him to go back to Brighton and just prove a point again, because I thought what he did, obviously De Zerbi did a very good job as well. I'm not disputing that, but I think a lot of the foundations were obviously put there through obviously Graham Potter and the way he's obviously built them up and stuff. So I would love to see him go back, and I think that'd be quite a wise move, because I just fear for Brighton now. Like, I think a lot of people will come in for some of the players. I think a lot of people will come in for the players again, probably Chelsea, because that's just a standard, isn't it, every season? So I do fear for them. So I think you need someone there who kind of knows the club from top to bottom to kind of get them stabilised again.
Do you know what I want to see? Graham Potter, after his time of being sacked from Chelsea with a big payoff, to rock up a brightness like Armani suit, big gold watch, and all that, like yeah, like dripping in money. Like, thanks, Jesse.
Here comes money.
Yeah, money. Oh,
dollar.
It would just be sensational. And NS Sports TV, who's got the Chelsea logo, you've just missed the Chelsea tour. We literally just talked about Chelsea's next manager. In summary, Charlotte thinks Enzo could be a very good appointment. Rebecca thinks he'll be interested to watch. Yeah, patience. Which, to be fair, I think Chelsea fans have patience. It's very rare. I don't know about you. I don't see a lot of Chelsea fans calling for their managers to be sacked consistently, but I do see mental owners at Chelsea. I don't know. I don't follow enough. Look, and everybody's giving me grief. Look at that, Claire's giving me. I can't say words.
Words are tricky, Josh. Words are tricky.
Yeah, it's only words, but words are all I have to take your breath away. And Graham saying he needs to rock up with his dice tracky. That's what I see it. And look at that. I mean, Charlotte is happy about that FA Cup win. That's lovely.
Oh, he was, bless him. Do you know what's so frustrating though? Like every time United have like a real, he's got a season ticket obviously at Rochdale still, so we'll still go to the Rochdale games. But now and again, obviously, he'll go to United games, but we can't go all the time because obviously it is very expensive. He goes with family and stuff. But every time I think, do you know what? I think I'm converting him to a Rochdale fan. United will either pull off a really good game or they'll win a cup, and I'm like.
God, what?
I know. I'm like, I thought I was doing it here, but yeah, it was very chuffed. Very chuffed.
And Drugy in the chat, does anyone know where De Zerbi's going?
I think there was a rumor of Milan. I think,
yeah,
because I think that was the rumor. But again, obviously, nothing's been confirmed yet. But I think that's what I read.
I got to be honest, in my narrow mind, I was thinking that he saw the United rumours and thought, this will make this even easier, and dropped off of that. That's what I thought, because I think, but looking at it, he's like number 4 in the running for the United job, because apparently you need to have odds on your next manager, even though you've still got one in place. And he was number 2 for the Chelsea job, but because I didn't realise Brighton were Chelsea's feeder squad.
Basically,
managers. But no, I don't know. I haven't seen anything else. But I think Milan would be good, though.
Everyone thought Bayern, but obviously Vincent Kompany's gone there now because he was. And that's mad, mental.
Don't even get me started.
Mental.
that is the wildest one. And do you know what? I did see Spenny fan. It was the relegation promotion playoff in the Bundesliga, which incidentally I am all for relegation promotion playoffs. And I think I don't know if you were in the WSL show on Wednesday last week, Rebecca, but they were talking about the relegation. I think they're on about the new company that's going to be owning the WSL, potentially suspending promotion and relegation. But I think that league in particular, the Women's Championship and WSL, the relegation playoffs, so like 2 go up, and then that I think that'd be magic. Make the WSL bigger by 2 teams, and then have that playoff. I love a bit of that. But if you want more WSL and Championship show chat, that is on a Wednesday, and that show is bitching. So make sure you check that out. What else? I mean, Treaty, I'm assuming this is the Vincent Kompany move. It's meant it is. So here's Graham. I'm scared I'm going to read this incorrectly, and it's going to lose all of its appeal. He said he'd done well at Brighton, so he deserves a very good club next. But That's a conversation for Charlotte. She's the boss. She's the boss of everything.
Not the Premier League one. That's you.
Charlotte, she holds the whip.
I was going to say,
hands
from
up the
what I've
lashes.
seen behind the scenes, I think Charlotte's very much the boss here. Josh is very much trembling in his boots right now.
I'm in the corner going fetal and rocking back and forth after this when I get my creative, constructive criticism. But I mean, the last thing, Spenny Fan did mention it, but it's so far up in the comments that I can't find it to put it back up. Emery, though, Aston Villa has pegged him down into 5 years. Charlotte was, I think she predicted 4th or 5th for Aston Villa. I can't quite remember. Shrewd move by Villa, Shah.
Very good move, especially considering there was some clubs linked with him. I think Bayern Munich were linked with Emery as well. There was a few clubs. And from what he's done in his first... has he been there 2 seasons now? Is it a season and a half?
Season and a half, I think. I think he
Season and a
came
half,
part way
yeah.
through last one, yeah.
Yeah, because it was Gerrard, weren't it? Sorry, Josh. Awkward.
Sensational. Don't let it slip.
That was a good one. I love that. But
just
yeah,
weed a little bit then. I was only joking, Shah. I didn't really.
Are you sure? You are nearly 40. We just need to make sure of these
I'm so
things.
disgusted with you, Josh.
No, well, I know. Do you know what? It's you and Rebecca bringing that Thursday feel, isn't it? Just a wild madness.
But yeah, I think it's a fantastic move from obviously Aston Villa. What he's done already for them is just absolutely brilliant. I know they had a bit of a shaky end of the season, didn't they? I think defensively they were leaking goals and stuff. But you think they did that as well without Tyrone Mings there, and he was out for quite a lot of the season.
Yeah.
They had injuries as well, and I think what he's done for them already is fantastic. And yeah, what a job he's doing. I love Aston Villa. Love Emery as well.
Graham was saying should have been Premier League Manager of the Year. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Didn't Pep get that? For doing what?
Why?
Exactly.
For doing what? Yeah. You did exactly that. You should do. It's the biggest club in the world that breaks all of the rules. Well done.
Should have gave it Rob Edwards just because he's cute.
Do you know what? That what I was about to say. He was really cute and deserved to win it. But you know, chat on my parade now is
I get to cover him next season.
I bet you'd like to.
I'm not like that, Josh. God. Just said he was cute.
Do you know what? To be fair, I mean, you could do, because I did once say I wanted Gerrard to lather me in chocolate and eat it off. So that's, you know.
Oh.
He slipped, though. Like Grimmy said, but he slipped.
He would.
That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, do I do this again? Like,
I'd be all oiled up for him. It'd be slip slide. And it's very fancy. It's 4-4 after 5 pens in the Bundesliga relegation promotion playoff. I part of me wants to stick around just so we can see who's going to be in the Bundesliga next season, but people have places to be, things to see. So I think we've covered all of the cool and interesting stuff. Yes, Grimmy.
Can I just point out one more stupid managerial thing?
Yes, you may.
What about Xavi at Barcelona?
That's awesome, isn't it? What a story.
He says he's leaving partway through the season. He's leaving at the end of the season. They convince him to stay. Then, like 3 weeks later, no, sorry, mate, you're off again. I don't want you.
I love it.
Off again.
Yeah.
No, Barca have sacked him. Like, he's not said he's going. They've sacked him.
I think it's excellent. I think that is so good.
I just don't understand how that club is a functioning club at times. Like, I don't get it.
Do you reckon De Zerbi could go there?
I think, well, I mean, anyone. I think you could get Tuchel, De Zerbi. Yeah, I think anybody, really. I mean, I did laugh at Xavi's comments, though, because after the game yesterday, he said whoever the next manager is, they're going to suffer. So, pretty brutal assessment, but probably not that inaccurate.
Poch then. Poch suffers everywhere. Let's give him Poch.
Yeah, why not? He needs the money from being paid off all the time. I think he's making a hell of a life. But
do you know what, right? I've been really nasty not nasty, because I've always said that he has the potential. I just don't think he's an outright winner. like for trophies and stuff, and hasn't got that mentality. But I actually really do feel sorry for him in this situation, because I feel like he did all the hard work, finally got them like somewhere, and then it's like, no, take it away from you.
Chelsea, man. I don't use just Sam's in out, shaking all about. You do the shavy cokey and you turn around. That's what it's all about. Whoa!
Oh, shabby cokey.
I just think, do you know what I think it is? It's a little bit the bastard. Like, oh, you want to walk out on us, do you? Walk out on us, do you? No, come and join us. And the minute he signs it, like, we got him, we got the bastard. No, by the way, mate, you're sacked.
Can I just say as well, while we're on the Spanish league, Tony Cruz.
Was he's done any?
I love him though. Such a player.
He was quality. Part
Such
of probably one of, if not probably the top two midfields that you've seen, because you know the Barcelona one. Speaking of Xavi and Iniesta and that turd Busquets, one of the better ones. But that Real Madrid midfield that he was part of was just superb and quality player. Yeah, I agree with you. And was he on the pitch with his daughter crying and everything?
Oh, his little kids, bless them. They were proper crying. It was one of them where it was sad, but it wasn't sad because it was just like, oh, that's so cute. But what a player as well. I don't think he gets spoke about enough, to be fair.
No, I agree, because he's so underrated, isn't he?
He really is, yeah.
He's got such a rounded game. He's absolutely cool.
Yeah.
It's because he's another one. He plays at Real Madrid, and they're a team that not a lot of people like. And I mean,
I like him.
Yeah, I like the white kit. I think it's quite sexy, and I don't like Barcelona.
Well, you've just lied now, because you said no one likes him, and that's two of us.
Well, that's because that's because we're special people, Shah.
What are you trying to say?
You're special like you're a special person, and I'm special like my mum tells me I'm really special. So we're two special people in different lights. And also, I mean, Graham said the Euroleague's the lovely send off Ranieri got from your team, Bologna Bolognese.
I know. I love bolognese. I could just have a bolognese right now. I'm so
That's what I had for my dinner. I had a bolognese today. It was massive, and with tiger bread.
Oh, don't now, please, because I'm on a diet.
Real
so
butter
don't do
spread, lashes.
You eating that while I'm troughing my lettuce. Thanks.
Well, I tell you, I'm just massively unhealthy bastard at the moment. Adriti loving Ranieri. What a manager he was. Superb. And Spenny fan keeping us up to date. Bochum is staying in the Bundesliga, and Dusseldorf stay in Bundesliga 2. Oh, 2. Bundesliga 2. I think that's it. But I think and look, Sam's eating porridge because he can't, because Sam is poorly bad. Aww. That's why he's not here with us at the moment, because he would have loved to have basked in the Man United glory as well. But he's a poorly bad. But I mean, I think that's everything. And I think everyone's probably fed up of talking to me now, because I do have a sort of time limit that once you reach it, you think, just piss off, you loser. So thank you, everybody, for all of your time. It's been
sorry, I don't mean it, I promise.
Hey, call a spade. I can take it. I call it as I see it. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. All the chat has been absolutely fantastic. I like to try and thank all the chat, but there's been so many chatters in the chat that you're chat-tastic. So thank you all, chitty chat. and going round the table, of course, everybody wants a bit of Shah in their life. Where can they find you, Charlotte?
I am most active on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm Shah XREFC. My Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT. And obviously, you can catch me on Thursday on my Absolutely Lower League show. We will be talking about the Southampton Leeds game. Leeds fans are very happy about it. But yeah, that's the only game we can cover, really. And then I think Claire's doing a quiz for us, so that should be fun. And I can take part, finally. I love a good quiz.
And just before we move on, I don't know what this means. There's some weird colour that it's on now. But quickly, start bench sell. Charlotte, quick.
Oh no, I can't do that.
Sell Xavi, bench Pirlo, start Cruz.
Oh, how about you, Rebecca?
I have no idea. This is too hard.
You got to start Pirlo. Look how sexy he is, especially with that hair. Oh,
I love Cruz so much.
Yeah.
Cruz won like how many Champions Leagues?
8 million, I think.
Start Cruz,
8 million.
Ben Pirlo, so Xavi.
Yeah.
Who's going to make me the most money?
Cruz
I'll
probably.
sell him. I'll sell
probably
Cruz.
I'm probably the same. I think we would all sell Xavi, and it's between Pirlo or Cruz, and I can't pick either. Graham said the chat is the chitty chatty gang gang. Spenny found the Lionesses game versus France at St James's Park on Friday. Cannot wait. Kieran agrees Pirlo has some sexy hair, so we say it is sexy hair. As a bald man, I love a bit of sexy hair. But talking about Spenny fan mentioned the Lionesses game, Rebecca, our star from our fantasticky, tabuloso, wonderful, wunderbar WSL women's show on a Wednesday. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me over. I've covered all 3 podcasts.
Gosh, just legendary. The legendary Rebecca.
Which is your favourite, Rebecca?
Good lord.
Whoa. Don't get off cry.
The
It's not
old-
going to be
crossfire.
me, is it? Be a politician.
I'm
Rebecca.
joking.
Yeah, you can find me here. There's too many underscores. I don't know why I ever set it up like that, but _ Rebecca _ on Twitter and TikTok. I cover everything from football to Formula 1, 2 and 3. So if anyone wants to find that, go and follow. And then also my Her Game 2 things are with ASFC Her Game 2 and also Her Game 2 Ice Hockey, where I am the team leader.
Smashing it.
Thank
Many
you.
fans going to his first Lionesses game on Friday, so he's very excited. But of course, you would have all noted a fresh face because he's so youthful, fresh faced, and Grimmy joining us this evening. Thanks again. I'd really appreciate you joining us on the pod. It's been great to have you here. Where can people find you if they want more Grimmy loving?
Again, find me on Twitter under St. Grimmy and YouTube under St. Grimmy. And actually, funnily enough, I've done a bit of a practice round today with being on this podcast because me and our good friend Mulch, who you know, Josh, we're doing a football podcast ourselves. So keep an eye out for that when we put it up on Twitter.
Awesome. Yeah. So please show the love to Grimmy because he's a good guy. I might give him
I think
shit.
we should get Grimmy back on the show.
Yeah, he's lovely.
I'm hashtag Team Grimmy.
Even though he promised me an invite to his wedding and then let me down,
I was so adamant that he wasn't going to that wedding that I flew to another country to get married. So
another country, another continent, you bastard.
He's actually got a restraining order against you, Josh. It just
this is the
doesn't count
closest
on
we
live
can be
stream.
digitally.
Oh no, it's heartbreaking. I mean, you're getting a bit of love from Spenny Fan Chris as well. We did make a comment, didn't bet you weren't expecting Spenny fan.
Gated and Spenny fans in one day. That's a lot for me to take on.
And Druty, another Her Game 2 ambassador. Proud of her Her Game 2 girlies. But of course, the big one and the one I really do genuinely please ask you, as we said right at the start, there is the FCA, the Football Creative Awards. I think that's what it's called. There you are, Football Content Awards. There is a tweet that the podcast has put out. So please do hit that link. If you feel the urge, if you feel that we deserve your love and respect, please do nominate us for anything. What do you want to say? I can see you giving up, Shah.
I know a lot of people have been asking like what to vote for us for. There's plenty. I think there's a Premier League one. There is actually women's football, and there's I don't know if it's a lower league or a national league one. So whichever you think, obviously ticks the boxes. It's under the Absolute Football Podcast as a whole show, but you can vote for us in each category. Yeah, so I know a lot of people were confused.
I know there's an overall podcast as well or something. There's like a general podcast one as well. So if you want to nominate Char for an individual award, I would wholeheartedly encourage that.
That's what I'm doing now for that Bruno speech. That's
all the United fans will be voting for me.
But please do check us out and vote there. But of course it is all of our socials here. We are on Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod, on YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, and on Twitch on the tickety tick boom at Absolute Football Pod, and Absolute Football Podcast _ on Instagram and Threads, and the Absolute Football Podcast on Facebook. If you are listening on an audio platform, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it, and give us 5 stars, follow, tell your friends, tell your enemies, random people in the street, shout it out of your balcony, and follow the Absolute Football Podcast. And please do show us your love there. And every time you subscribe on YouTube, an angel gets its wings, which is such a beautiful thing to see. And on Mondays, again, we're here every Monday, 8:30, covering the Premier League. And on Wednesdays is the fabulous, absolutely WSL and Women's Championship show. The team are doing absolutely sterling work there. Genuinely, it's such an enjoyable show. I think they're hashtag Team Chaos over there on the Wednesday. So do please check them out. And Roy Hodge and Wowdy Wabble, the award-winning absolutely lower league show headed by Charlotte and Wowdy Wabble on Thursdays at 8:30. Please do join them as well. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for being with us this evening. Have a very pleasant evening. TTFN and ta-ta for now.